Everything I see is new.
Hola amigos. I want to start off by saying thank you guys. The Pinterest video did way better than I could have ever imagined. In all honesty, I didn't think you guys wanted to, sit and watch me ramble while looking at Pinterest for 20 minutes. But you guys absolutely enjoyed it. You guys had me get my first video to hit over 100K views. So I just want to say thank you. I mean, I never thought I could hit something like that. As well as I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. I've hit over 28,000 subscribers. So thank you guys for that as well. So I kind of wanted to do a part 2 of the ramble session that I call, how to curate better on Pinterest and to stop copying. And I know in the last video, I went through and I've read every single comment. And I've gone through and you guys had a lot of questions as well as kind of things that you guys wish you could do differently, from some people saying straight up that they wish that they might just like delete their whole like Pinterest and restart. And it kind of made me think like maybe I should go through and answer some of these questions, as well as kind of discuss some of the things I wish I would have done differently, or how to group and how to organize your Pinterest slightly better, things of that sort. So that's what today's video is going to be. So grab a snack, get a little drink. It'll probably be a bit more of a yap session today, but enough with the rambling. Let's go ahead and get into today's video. First thing I kind of want to discuss is I think this video that I put out, nuances of perspectives and opinions and why everyone has style. If you guys have not seen that video, I don't want to plug myself here, but I think you guys really watch it. I'll kind of hit on some of the topics I discussed in that video because, it didn't do so great, but I think it offers a lot of insight on how to use Pinterest better as well. But one of the main things I was kind of discussing in the video is how I believe everyone has style. And this is kind of like a mantra I've lived by for years now, as I think the main thing you see in the fashion space is everyone is a critic. Everyone has something to say about something. And I think that is a good thing, especially when you've educated yourself on certain design philosophies and things of that sort. But for me personally, when I get dressed, I want to get dressed so I feel better and confident about myself. It's not as much as a outward showing for the world, but it's much more a way to build confidence in myself. Everyone has a confidence builder. For some people, it's going to the gym. For some people, it's playing a sport. And for me, it's looking fly, man. That's my confidence builder. So for a lot of people, since that's how I feel about me personally when it comes to clothes, when other people dress in what I deem as confident for them, who am I to judge that? So in that video, I kind of discussed my little brother. In this video, I discussed how much my brother loves Nike Techs, and that he loves them so much that like it's became a part of him and like his style. And at first I was kind of like, Nike Techs, really? But he felt so good in Nike Techs that eventually it made me want to style Nike Techs. Like I did a whole video where I styled a Nike Tech to kind of fit my own personal style. And it kind of just shows how like even things that you can see as the polar opposite of you can still look at, take something away from it, and even admire it. So for me personally, I've always lived by the fact that everyone has style, because as long as you feel confident in whatever that is, who am I to judge you on it? You see what I'm saying? So if you guys want kind of more deeper dive of that concept, then I really recommend watching that video, as I kind of give some more examples of how perspectives are key for not only growing in your life, but also growing in your fashion journey, and why we kind of have to respect everyone in their own little takes in their own little world. But I hear what you're saying, Jevon, what does that have to do with Pinterest and me and helping me along my Pinterest journey? Well, like I said, everyone has style. So when I'm scrolling through Pinterest and I'm looking for things, I'm looking for things that do not, like a lot of times they do not align with maybe what I would wear personally. But like I said, you can always take something from it. So like in the other video, if that's taking whatever clothing item it is, if that's taking color theory away from it, if that's taking, how something is shaped or fits, whatever it is, taking something from it is one of the key things, because what you're ending up doing is you're seeing a separate perspective. You're seeing a different perspective than your own, and you're finding a mid ground, a connecting point between the two, and you're able to find that and move on from it. So for me, it can be like little things that make me go, oh, you know what? I do like that, and I'll save it, right? Now, when it comes to saving, as this is one point I kind of want to hit on. If I had to do it all over again on how I would categorize my Pinterest, I would do it kind of similar to how I treat my Apple Music and I treat my playlist. So on Apple Music, I've kind of picked up this habit of like saving playlists based on colors, where like a color, how that makes me feel, I then tie in songs and music to that, and then I kind of categorize that and put it in different playlists. So for me, this is my orange playlist, which I'll use as my main example, and it's really just a lot of Brazilian music. But Brazilian music makes me feel good. It makes me feel energetic. It makes me feel happy. So I gave it the color orange, right? But then for other examples, like when I have my sadder music, I might put on some blues. I give it the blue color, things of that sort. Realistically, I would have loved for me to, like, if I had to do it all over again, I would categorize my Pinterest based on colors. Not just off of like, when I go to my clothes tab and I go, oh, all my pink stuff. I don't want to like categorize that necessarily as like, oh, this goes in the pink section. But I think if I was to see something and it was to make me feel some type of way, like for example, like I've been saving a lot of fur or like grass or like stuff like this, like almost like editorial shoots, putting these in different colors of like how that makes me feel. I think it would be a much better way of categorizing your Pinterest, not just as in like, these are my clothes, these are what clothes I like, or, these are my shoes, these are the shoes I like. I think those are good. Like, I think it's still good to have those, and I'm glad I have like those sections so I can still categorize. But I do think it would be like really cool if you could like have a whole subsection just kind of dedicated to like how you feel, you know what I mean? Because at the moment, what I only have is like my development tab or like my vibes or aesthetic, or it's like I kind of put those things in these subsections because I don't really know where else to put it necessarily. But if I had to do it all over again, I definitely would organize this all off colors and just how those colors make me feel. Another comment I kind of saw a lot of was people discussing how Pinterest could be used as style progression. And I do think that that is a dope thing Pinterest offers, as you can save things from years ago and you can slowly work your way through. But I would even recommend for people who are using other platforms, like if you shop a lot, use Grailed or eBay, right? Like if you do use these things, I discussed how I use Grailed as a personal collection of my style progression. I know I'm kind of outing my Grailed likes, which is one of those things you're not supposed to do. But the reason why I'm showing you this is because I've had a Grailed account for such a long amount of time, since 2019, right? Don't mind what I'm selling. But I've had it since 2019. I've kept it on the low, right? But when you go through my Grailed likes and you can see it, I mean, like, I've saved things for years, right? And for me, saving things on Grailed, I knew I wasn't gonna buy a majority of these things. Of course, I buy a couple, but for me, the reason why I love Grailed the same way I do Pinterest is that I can sit here and I can categorize just like I would on Pinterest, right? Like when I go to the Pinterest tab and I go through my profile, I go saved and I see all the clothes, right? The same way I do this, where I can see everything. Well, now with Grailed, I do the same thing, but I get pricing and I get to keep a constant update on the market, right? For those same items, even if I don't buy it. But it kind of offers the same thing Pinterest does for me, where I can go through and I can see from 2 years ago when I was really interested in football jerseys. I saved a lot of football jerseys. Or when I was really interested in trying to get more denim and upgrading my denim collection. Or what colors was I really interested in? Or when I went through a phase where I was looking for a leather jacket a ton, right? Like, you can use other platforms that aren't just Pinterest, like Vinted or Vestiaire Collective or The Real or Grailed, eBay, so on and so forth. These like shopping marketplaces. You can use these platforms for basically the same thing you would use Pinterest for. So the reason why I'm bringing it up is to say that your sourcing of creativity doesn't have to strictly be through Pinterest. A lot of the times, it's almost even better to kind of go around, like go outside of those walls of Pinterest and to source that same creativity. So, and then being able to categorize that for your own style progression that you can then look back on, years later and go, oh, dude, I remember when I was really into this or when I was really into that, you know? So going outside of that is also a great tool. Speaking of going outside of Pinterest, I'll have to record this as it's on my phone, but don't be afraid to screenshot things. When you're scrolling on TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, whatever platform you're using. I mean, even recently I was watching Dirt from a recommendation from my boy Tuck. And as I'm watching, they're wearing these hoodies that I was like, dude, where is he getting that hoodie? I just took my phone out, took a picture, right? But going through and screenshotting and then creating a photo album in your phone that I call inspo, for example, where I can go through and I save everything, every screenshot, every piece of inspo that I've seen over the years. I have it all sitting here. There's over 500 images that I've saved where I've like, I like that, or I like this color, or I liked whatever, right? There's even been times where I've just been walking the streets and I've seen somebody and you know, you kind of do one of those like little click, and you're not gonna share it anywhere, but for you, you're like, I'm gonna remember that, you know, stuff like that. So I bring this up once again because I want you guys to understand that Pinterest isn't the be all end all of how to curate your own aesthetic, your own vibe, your own style. There's other places, and it's almost better sometimes to leave the walls of Pinterest to be able to source this curation of ideas and vibes, aesthetics, things of that sort. So, in conclusion for today's video of kind of my rambling of thoughts, when it comes to curating, going outside of the four walls of Pinterest by going to online marketplaces or using whatever you see in real life or wherever social media platforms you guys use, feel free to screenshot, save, and allow those things to become a collection. Either if that's from you literally creating a photo collection of it, or you creating a virtual collection of clothes you may like and be shopping for. But use those places the same way you would Pinterest, as it allows you to see a style progression over the years. The next point is, if I had to redo my Pinterest saving journey, the way I would go about it is the same way I do music. I would save everything in a scope of colors rather than just straight up naming it how it is, as when it comes down to it, sometimes it can get a bit confusing. And even though I do think it's good to have sections like shoes, accessories, and things of that sort, sometimes it would be cool to be like, dude, this made me feel this type of way, so I put that in the orange category, or it made me feel this type of way, so I put it in blue. I think that'd be really sick. And then the last point was realizing that everyone has style. And by understanding those perspectives of how each individual feels and how they operate and how they perceive the world, and that perception is really an expression of themselves that you can see visually, by realizing that, you can start to understand and be able to pluck and take things and find a mid-ground in otherwise a realm that we can be quite judgmental with. So realizing that everyone has their own personal style and that you should take that as what it is rather than a let's bout it out to figure out whose style is better than the others. So that concludes today's video. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments down below. If you guys want me to discuss more things about Pinterest or more things about curation or things outside of just the fashion space, curating in the senses of music or in the senses of video games, things of that sort, let me know in the comments down below. The next video should be a discussion on fashion in video games. So if you guys want to talk about, any video game characters in particular to you, also let me know in the comments down below. If you liked it, leave a like. If you did not, leave it a dislike as well. And also, last plug, and then I'm done. But guys, please check out the 3 other videos I put out in the last month of exposing my wish list, the nuances of perspectives and opinions, and why everyone has style, as well as how to find steals and deals online. Dude, I'm putting y'all on game, okay? But I'm done, all right? I'm done plugging it. I'm done rambling. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Adios, amigos.